Yo, what's going on, guys? And we're hearing that very TCN. Basically, what it means is the Wizards are unlikely to consider trading Kyle Kuzma, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. What we are basically hearing is that for the last few weeks, there's been rumblings of a Kuz trade, and I think it's definitely interesting to see how this all plays out, because I'm a fan of Kyle Kuzma, but at the same time, I know as a Wizards fan, we could really cash in on him with a contending team and get their basically convince them to give us multiple picks because he's a championship pedigree player. Now, strong rebounder, guards multiple positions, can play multiple positions. He's on the first year of that 4-year, $102 million deal, which pays him like 25.5, I believe it is. And it's descending, which is even better. So that's the annual average. I think this year gets 23 and the last year gets 19. So the Wizards don't want to move him. And they know his value is going to get more and more valuable next year because he'll be cheaper. So what we're hearing is Washington has been very hesitant to talk trades with Kyle Kuzma. People are calling them. Teams say they called them and they're just not getting counter offers. They're just saying, if you want to register an offer for Kuzma, that's fine. You can do it. But there's not a point, as it seems like they're really active in not moving him. But that could change by the deadline. Knowing Michael Winger and Will Dawkins, they really like Kyle Kuzma. They like having him there. And they're being quite particular about like how they would like to talk about Kuzma and trade deals. So, I mean, I'm in agreement. I don't think we need anything. We've heard that they want multiple picks for Kyle Kuzma. Look, I'd be surprised if they trade him. I think unless some team like the Kings or somebody gave us a Godfather offer where we looked at it and we're like, well, we really can't do anything except this, because it would be just bad business on our part, which means somebody would have to be committing gluttony and overpaying. And I just don't see anyone that desperate this season. So that's where I sit here hesitant that somebody would go and, maybe mortgage the future for Mr. Kyle Kuzma at this stage. I think that's more of a move maybe next year when the teams are kind of reloaded. But that's where I definitely want to hear everybody's opinions. If you're a Wizards fan, do you think you should just, like me, I'm a Wizard fan, should we just bite the bullet?
The Washington Wizards, everybody's fan favorite story, Kyle Kuzma. We're hearing 3 first-round picks. Tyus Jones was somebody that I think we always planned on moving, but that's coming to a reality right now. And the Washington Wizards, obviously an intriguing team heading into the deadline. While Kyle Kuzma is drawing in exploratory trade interest from rival organizations, I think the biggest interest for them is understanding that a lot of people are looking at Kyle Kuzma as the consolidation prize if you weren't able to land Pascal Siakam, as he's somebody that is well liked within the Wizards organization due to his championship pedigree and being a good culture guy. My roommate walked in and I got 4 hours of bedtime right now, it's looking like. But what we were specifically talking about, Washington Wizards, Kyle Kuzma, teams that didn't get Pascal Siakam or didn't want to pay that much are probably looking at Kyle Kuzma. Again, Houston Rockets, Sacramento Kings are guys that there. I mean, the Houston Rockets, send me Jalen. Actually, I don't want Jalen Green. I had to stop myself there. I don't know who I'd want from the Houston Rockets. But from the Sacramento Kings, I mean, Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell isn't the worst thing in the world. I don't really want to trade Kyle Kuzma, but I can understand that, Washington wants 2 to 3 first-round picks. And given that Kyle Kuzma has a descending contract, there's no immediate urgency for them to want to part ways with them. So really, Kyle Kuzma isn't going anywhere unless somebody gives him a Godfather offer. Now, Tyus Jones is the best backup point guard in the league. He wants to be a starter. He's the guy who has one of the top assist to turnover ratios in the NBA over the past few seasons. He's 27 years old. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent and is a player that the Wizards would like to re-sign, according to Hoops Hype. And as a full-time starter this season for the first time in his career, a role that Tyus Jones has expressed that he ideally would like to retain during free agency courtships, according to league sources. Tyus Jones is averaging career highs across the board: 13 points, 52% from the field, 42% from 3, 5.6 assists, and a steal and a half from
that's it. I don't know what I was going right there. But the belief is Washington wants at least a first round pick for him. And should the team dangle a future first round pick for a guy like him, a deal like that could be something that the Wizards expect to offer. Washington has a boatload of trade exceptions and will look to use those to take on salary dumps from other teams for future draft picks and young players to bolster their rebuilding efforts. Washington has several trade player exceptions: 12.35 from the Kristaps Porzingis deal, 9.8 from Monte Morris, 5.38 from the Bradley Beal deal, and 3.5 from the Mike Muscala deal. So those are all ones to keep an eye out for.
Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we're going to be talking about Mr. Kyle Kuzma, who's considered quite valuable on the trade market if the Wizards begin selling off players. As you guys know, Kuzma signed a 4-year, $90 million contract, and he's considered quite valuable. Obviously, we appear to be sellers this season as we are firmly planted at the bottom of the league, looking like we might be able to get a first overall pick or a top first round pick. Now, Kyle Kuzma trade could lead to us getting significant first round draft pick capital, while the value of Jordan Poole has appeared to drop as he's in the first year of that $120 million deal. Now, I think the biggest thing is looking around at teams like the Knicks, like the Kings. I think my T-Wolves would be a perfect fit for him, but I don't think the T-Wolves would be it. But the Kings and the Knicks are, I feel like, teams that realistically go for it. The Heat, if they were able to convince or give a package, is another team. There's some teams that I really think that if he's their third guy or fourth guy, he's immensely valuable because of his skill set. And that's the thing with Kyle Kuzma. I'm a huge Kyle Kuzma. I'm a Wizards fan. So I want to hear your opinions down below. What do you guys think of him if you guys are on the same page as me? But this year he's playing 31 minutes a night, which is the least amount of minutes since his LA days. And he's averaging 23 points, which is career high, 6.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, a block and a steal a night. And he's shooting 47% from the field almost, while also shooting 36.5% over 36% from three. Okay. And I think that's one of the coolest things when you think about it, because I'm a big fan, because what we see with Kuzma is that, he's had an injury concern, but it's really not going to affect him, he's saying. And I don't know. I personally think you're getting at least 2 first round picks if you trade Kuzma. He's an absolute dog. And no, I feel like when you look at this team, you think, okay, how are they going to be able to get better, the Wizards? It's by trading players at the top when their value's at their highest. And right now, personally, guys, I do think the most value he has is right now. And I think that definitely is why, but maybe, okay. And I feel like sometimes when I look at a team that is trying to get to the next level, guys like Kyle Kuzma could be your gateway there, like the Aaron Gordon. He's kind of like the Aaron Gordon. That's what I want to say. Aaron Gordon's a great example of this. And that's why I think when you have someone as good as Kyle Kuzma on the roster, you gotta harness that. You can't let that stuff slip away, in my opinion, if you're a championship team or rot away on a team like the Wizards. No offense, I love my Wizards, but a championship team needs to go out and get him.